All right, we're out here with Cooper and we're gonna work on some polite greeting. So we have our handy helper. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just walk right up, and as soon as I see him kind of getting sucked into her and getting excited, I'm gonna use my food luring skills that we introduced earlier in this week to kind of help get him successful, and we'll build up to longer interactions and saying hi. So here we go. So he does have the tendency to be jumpy, jumpy, jumpy. So I'm actually going to say, you can go ahead and pet him. Say, hi. Oh, hello. Good. So I'm using food to kind of make sure that he's keeping all four on the floor, and he's doing really great with that. He's actually kind of almost too distracted by the food to say hi. So I'm going to let him do that again. Who's that over there? Good. Good. So kind of as soon as he notices her, I'm getting that food in the picture. And so for him, I'm going to actually need to fade the food out a little bit because he's so interested in that food. Let's see if we can say hi again. Who is that?
You say Cooper?
Yeah, that's Cooper. Good boy, yeah. All right, so we're still out here, whoops, with Cooper. I just wanted to make, oh, there we go. We've been working on having him kind of keep all four on the floor. Good, and he's been doing pretty good with that. Good. Nice, good job. So basically what we do is we kind of, good. Oh, you missed it. Good. So I kind of like run around and almost entice him to, I do something that would have prompted him to jump before. And every time he gets feet on me, I'm using his leash to kind of pull him up and off of and away. So I'm just using the leash to get him off of me without actually have to get my hands on his body. So it, with dogs jumping, sometimes when we like use our hands to push them down, that becomes almost a reward event for some dogs. They're like, oh, yay, you're petting me. Kind of another reason why I like having puppies drag a leash in the house, and especially during times when they're most likely going to potentially jump. So when we first get home, when they first come out of the crate, when we're doing something exciting, when we're doing a training event, or when people come over. So those are all really good times to have your baby puppy dragging a leash in the house. And that gives me a very effective, neutral way to say, no, thank you, I don't like that. When we do this game, if he does jump on me, I can use the leash, no, thank you. And then we just reset. Let's try it again. But every time I kind of do a movement, good, and he decides to keep his feet on the floor, we can reinforce him then. So we'll do some more of that. The other thing I wanted to mention is when we were out and about doing some polite greetings, which we didn't get good reps of that today. I'm going to revisit that. He was just a little bit too interested in the food today to really engage with the person we were trying to say hi to. So I'm going to try a different setup where we're just kind of encountering multiple people. The other thing that I want to mention about that particular setup is that I have him in a slip leash right now, which is what we use here at the studio. But I recommend using a harness until we cover loose leash walking skills. So I'm working on loose leash walking skills in his slip leash in between recording sessions and as we're walking around, because it's a little bit, obviously a little bit second nature for me to work on that with him. But when you're just trying to go out and about, get from point A to point B, get from the car to the building, or get him out for exercise, or you're just doing a training session that doesn't involve making sure that he's, working on loose leash walking skills, definitely use a harness, because the absolute biggest no that we can do with puppies is have them get any foot in the direction they want to go with a tight leash. So if he's in a harness, I don't mind if he pulls. I don't care if he gets he could be at the end of his leash and pulling us and like water skiing us across the parking lot in his harness. That's totally fine. I don't want him to learn to be desensitized to his collar and learn to pull into his collar to get to where he wants to go. That should be a really separate sensation. And that's really important because we want him to be sensitive to pressure. We don't want to desensitize him to pressure on his collar and have it just be this frustrating sensation that means absolutely nothing except blocking him from getting to where he wants to go. So I recommend having him in a harness when you're doing some sessions until we get some loose leash walking skills covered. And then last but not least, the only other thing I wanted to mention that we didn't get to like record a session on, but we'll work on this with him as we're going along in this program, is I noticed that at least today on day 2 that I've known Cooper, and I say that because this might not necessarily be the case. I don't really put a lot of salt into behaviors that I see in dogs in week 1 or even at this age. This doesn't necessarily play into the kind of dog he becomes a week from now. But I did notice that he's very reactive to some of the things that we actually people that we came back. So cars unaffected by, weird waving flags in the wind unaffected. He noticed Alex behind the camera all of the sudden when the food stopped being in the picture, and then he kind of started barking, and he barked at a couple people on the way back. So I'm interested in working on that if that is an issue that we're concerned with. And if that's not something we're seeing at home or worried about, then we definitely don't have to spend too much time covering it. But we've got some really good strategies for that, and that's a really important part of socialization, obviously. So we'll start doing some of that during our out and abouts and cover that more if we're interested. But he did really good today. My final thoughts on him for week 1 is that 1, he's very smart. 2, he's thinking cute, and I really like his haircut. But more importantly, he's doing great with all of the skills that we taught with clicker and food luring. Those are all really coming along even in on day 2. Socially, he's doing stupendous. He is very well adjusted socially with other dogs. He has the ability to temper his play. I would say he's still a little bit not like shy, but he's probably not, I haven't probably seen like the wildest side of him just yet. So he's a little bit more reserved, I would say. But he's definitely breaking out into play. He's met dogs of many different ages, dogs his own age, dogs that are old, dogs that are medium aged. He's met dogs of a bunch of different sizes, including a Newfoundland that was quite large. So, and a couple of dogs that are much smaller than him even. So he's doing really great, I would say, socially. No concerns there at all. And I'm really excited to meet with you guys this weekend. Good job, Coop.